So for the past couple of years, I've been asked probably about 200 times to create a scalping video for you guys with the 1 minute. Well, I'm not going to do scalping video on backtesting, but I am going to show you the rationale behind two trades which you could have taken today using the 1 minute combined with the 15 minute, which could have got you 60R. Okay, so I didn't take either of these trades. I cancelled the first one, which is frustrating, and I wasn't around to do the second one, but I will show you how simple the strategy is, and I'll just literally show you on here that it is no different on the 1 minute than it is the 15. So if you want to go back and do the 1 minute, just use the same rules. It's the same, all right? So I am going to use my current charts, okay? So I'm just going to make a copy, just stick it on there, just so I don't screw up my actual live charts. And you'll be able to see all my markups, but I'm going to talk you through the structure, where we are, where price is, what we were following, what we were expecting, and then the exact trades themselves, why they looked appealing, and how you can essentially get into them in the future. Now, they don't line up every day. Sometimes you'll get losses, but hey, every strategy you do. But if you had the availability of 60R, well, you can get it wrong quite a few times while learning. You just need to have the balls to hold it, which, trust me, gets a lot easier once you've done it once, because you give yourself that bumper, if that makes sense, or that buffer. So first of all, I'm just going to expand out the screen and essentially show you where we are with everything, okay? So I haven't done the back testing of this week. I didn't trade as much as what I wanted to. But essentially, we just broken the internal structure to the upside. We're on EU as well, just in case anybody asks. EU, looking at the daily, this is the current structure. CHOCH is at the top, so we know statistically we should be aiming for BOS, which is down there. We've got about a 70% chance of BOS occurring before CHOCH. We were all watching around this area to begin with, and it's an internal structure, okay? It's not ultra strong, but it's still strong. It's still prevalent in the way which we trade. So we had a bit of red news on Wednesday, really amazing, grew my account by just over 25%, about 26%. Won't be sharing how I did that publicly. A few people know, a few people watch me do it. Pretty decent. And repeatable, which is good and easy. So, you know, I'll be trading red news a lot more often again now. So that's pretty cool. Anyway, daily is working internally upwards. By internal, it's easy to see when you're going counter trend and pro trend, because counter trend leaves behind no imbalances, pro trend leaves behind imbalance. All right, it's as simple as that. So we see, you know, just to give you the example of this, pro trend is down because we just had basically a lot of zigzag movements there, then a press up, and then quite a sharp press down. And look at the amount of times we've sort of come up, gone down, come up, gone down, until we had that red news event where we did leave behind a bit of imbalance. We pierced the top of here, so there's every possibility that we've just swept here. However, today's candle, now on the Friday, looks as though we might be ending up breaking up and pushing up higher. And just using experience, which you guys should have by looking at the rest of the videos that I've created, these areas don't really hold much strength anymore. Okay, so it does look as though we might get CHOCH. Still a 30-odd% chance of us doing that. Anyway, drop down to the H4 and this will start to make a bit of sense. The way which I've got things set out as well, there's certain boxes which won't display on the daily or the weekly just to keep my charts cleaner. But we had, I need to explain this, okay, we had an H4 inside bar here before the part of a sell-off and a structural break, okay? This is one of the most powerful candles you will ever come across. This has always been the key part of this this area of the strategy. So even though we were aware that the daily high structure was here on the internal, we knew that we had this H4 above. So we were expecting a pierce of this daily internal structural high, and then getting a tap off of this, all right? And we got it, okay? So we got that on, I want to say Wednesday, yeah, it was Wednesday on the H4. We're just looking at the H4 here. The H4 structure, just so you're aware, we finally got that BOS right there. A lot of internal structure over the last week or so. Got a break upwards, got another break. H4 CHOCH went there, BOS went up, 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 up. Therefore, CHOCH was down here, BOS was up there. We're expecting a deep-ish retracement So preferably halfway or further into the discount zone, because obviously second half is going to be discounted, and work our way up. We ended up getting a doji candle, which I think is what I'm going to show you in a minute, why it was really important. And now it looks as though we're working our way up. We are now in the final 4 hours of the week, which is why we've got an inside bar forming, because that normally happens on the final 4 hours of the Friday. It's just ignore this one on the chart every week, pretty much. So we showed a very aggressive pull up again today, which is good, and just the stars aligned. So go drop down to the M15. So bear in mind, H4 was up. We did have a bounce off of this really important H4 because it was the inside bar way back above all the liquidity. It's where the liquidity was, and it was an inside bar, so it was an order block. There were blocked orders. People wanted to get out the market. We came up, pierced it. It was only like a little bounce off of it, which was strong enough to knock us back to an area of demand, where we're now sort of pushing up. So we need to pretty much expect that this area is going to break. Okay, so we're kind of expecting now for this to happen, price to come down, probably bounce. Well, you know, it might be an order block or a candle which hasn't been created yet, which is often the case, but this should become the extreme next. That would be the ideal entry point before we work our way up to the actual daily CHOCH and into the next zone. All right, so really, really simple. Dropping down to the M15, okay, so I'm going to show you the area which I was looking at last night on the chart. I'm just going to go back to bar replay mode. Now, I was on the phone last night between sort of 9 o'clock and 1:30 on an extremely intense phone call. Just stuff going on, and I needed to pay attention to it. But I did have my chart open. So, you know, I know my trading plan off the back of my hand. It's pretty simple. But when you're distracted, you still have room for doubt. So let me just talk you through this structure. All right. So this was the news event where I took a killing from on Wednesday, which was amazing. Price came down. We bounced off and mitigated that inside bar. We worked our way up. We left behind another inside bar. With that inside bar, yes, it's a white candle, but you know, that's fine. It's still an inside bar. But what it's done is it's pierced the last area of support. So we're working our way up. Support, demand, whatever you want to call it. We've pierced that. We've come up. We've broken CHOCH again on the M15. We got CHOCH again. We haven't come down. What we've left behind here is a little bit of imbalance there. That had rebalanced. We've left behind the imbalance there. It makes it almost a perfect order block, okay, this white candle. Work our way up. We come up. We mitigate up here into that H4 zone. It's quite a big H4 as well. So we just slightly mitigated it, basically just pierced it. And we had CHOCH occur here on this black candle, okay? So not that one, but this one. It's just the way that I do my BOS and CHOCH. It's different, I guess, from the YouTube clowns who else you watch, because I can see on my analytics. But, you know, take it from an actual trader and an analyst. This black candle was CHOCH, nothing else. Anyway, we got CHOCH on the M15 out of a reaction off of the H4. And I was not really paying attention, but it was around about 9 o'clock where I came to the chart. So I'm just going to speed up. So yeah, I was around about here and just paying attention to order flow, okay? We were likely going to be working our way down to here, okay? Because we've got the imbalance. We've got another little bit of imbalance here. We had an attempt at it. We didn't get it. So it made sense that if I could get into a short off of anything here, the take profit would just be on the rebalance, all right? So not necessarily looking for an entry off of there, but if you can get an entry off of there, great. You know, you can literally just place a trade off the 0.25 and go up at least to H4 BOS, but probably to the next zone if you really want to hold it. But first target really needs to be the H4 BOS, considering that this is likely going to be the extreme. You could say that something down here is the extreme, but just using experience, the candlestick patterns just aren't right. Same with this. This has been sort of rebalanced and mitigated by that. There's nothing left behind here, so the extreme moves, okay? It's a little bit of a complex concept. We talk about it a lot in FTR, in the group. The link's below, by the way. So join us if you want to learn how to trade properly and quite easily as well, along with 100 other really good traders. Yeah, so generally speaking, that would be the target. You could take a trade straight off of that. Yeah, at the same time, if you drop down to the 1 minute, which is, you know, the whole purpose of this video, which we're going to be doing in a second, you will see what there is available. Okay, so again, watching structure, price is working its way down. Yes, we did pierce this with a body, and then we came back down again straight away and got CHOCH again. So the M15 is continuing to work its way down. The only viable area for us to say, okay, we're going to get a bounce and continue in the actual overall uptrend is a bounce off of this inside bar. It is now the extreme. The extreme isn't down here. This is the extreme. Okay, so I'm just going to keep going because we had a sell. There we go. We had a sell-off happen here. We broke all the structure, like internal structure. And then I think overnight price has broken down there. But I'd already made the decision to place my trade. And I thought, you know what, I don't do it often anymore. But it was leading into the Asia session. Yeah, it was probably around about here, about 1:30 when I finished on the phone. So I'm just going to go back a tiny bit. Yeah, I'll call it, well, I had the trade placed at this point because I remember. But yeah, I had it on. It was breaking down perfectly. And this had mitigated that. This had mitigated all this. There was this up there, which is fair enough. But sometimes you just need to take a punt and say, right, I'm going to take this trade and I'm going to take that trade and probably something out of this. And whichever comes first. But because we were heading into the Asia session where there's very little liquidity, there's not really enough strength to create enormous moves. So when you do have an order block, which was created, essentially Asia doesn't always have the strength to break through it. So it makes the order blocks during Asia 10 times stronger. So that's why Asia is actually my favorite session to trade. Problem is that it's really antisocial because it starts around about midnight or 11 p.m. It goes through to about 6 a.m. So I try not to trade it because obviously I've got responsibilities during the day. So I'm going to drop down to the 1 minute and show you what it looked like, and it becomes crystal clear and screamingly obvious why this trade was where it was. So just looking at the structure, sorry, I still got nerve issues which shoot through my back. So price had mitigated here, this had mitigated that. Yes, we've got a really good outside bar up here, which would be the trade on the 1 minute that you'd want to take. There was another really good trade yesterday. I think it might have actually been straight off of that. But yeah, anyway. So price just kept on sort of getting mitigated and taken. This one would have been kind of fine to take from as well, and you'd have been stopped out. But then we started getting the breaker structure down. So CHOCH on the way down, just on the 1 minute. And then price went up, it mitigated again. So I wouldn't necessarily say that you should take a trade off of here, even though there was even a better, which I didn't notice until I'm doing this video, there was an even better 1 minute trade, possibly. Let me see. Oops. Yeah, would we have got, you may have just missed the entry or you might have just got the entry. But anyway, there's a 1 minute there. And bear in mind, a lot of people are going to say, there's no way you could take that with a stop loss that size. I'm just going to say to you, get a better broker, all right? I've got probably one of the best in the industry. Get a better broker because you can take these trades and we do regularly. So 0.4 pips. A lot of people say it's unrealistic, but you know, learn how to trade. And then your target is literally where we're trying to target on the M15 because that's where price is going, or it's quite obvious where price is going to go. And you just want to take it on the rebalance, okay? You don't want to try and take it and do the swapsies. So basically price, there's a 65-hour trade that I didn't even notice until now. But so down to there and just do the swap. So you exit that trade and enter that one. Like, is that a bigger risk? Absolutely not. Because if you take that trade, it becomes 65-hour and then it goes straight through this area, congratulations, you're on plus 64. Our trading is second to none. So anyway, you take it to the rebalance, which would have been, I don't know, plus 55, 57. That wasn't a trade I was going to tell you, so you're going to get 3. So the trade which I spotted was this one. Okay, let me get rid of that now because I didn't spot that before. It was this. Okay, it's not CHOCH, it's not anything interesting apart from it's a pin bar, and it's I call it a reversal pin bar. Somebody, if you can, stick it in the comments. What's this candle actually called? Is it an inverted hammer? I don't know. It's a dark candle for me, so it's a bearish candle. Price started here, worked its way up, closed down and ended up lower than what it started, okay? So that makes it a very, very good indication that price is going to sell off from here. It also means that the guys who were pressing their way up and didn't quite pierce here, they are the order block, and it's only a 1 minute. Now, bear in mind, okay, remember this, it is down to time, okay, the time in the market. If this was the order block in the middle of the day, say midday to like maybe 1 o'clock when we got the New York open, absolutely not. I would not take this trade because we'll power straight through it. It's because it was Asian session and we've got basically the London Open to come into it, which can lead in, which is really good. So anyway, we'll just watch as price sort of dilly-dallied around through the night. I'll probably speed this up a little bit. Just realised that it's showed the rest of the charts. Let me make this bigger again. And I'm going to skip to the 15 and just show you how it worked out and why it was still fine to hold. Anyway, after I got off the phone and I was getting myself ready for bed, and you know, when your brain is just racing and you just can't shut off, about 3 in the morning, half 3, I looked at my charts again and thought, yeah, I know how to trade, I know my checklist, but I was half paying attention to the charts. I cancelled it. I cancelled the order, I took it off. I'm not annoyed at myself because there's another one around the corner. There'll be another one on Monday, another one on Tuesday, another one on Wednesday. But it's one of those things where I thought, play a bit of maturity, like I wasn't paying attention. But, you know, I'll take the confidence that I don't really need to pay too much attention to be able to get the trades. So here we go. I think it was at 8 a.m. Yeah, it's the 8:15 candle pretty much, or the 8 a.m. It was actually the 8 a.m. candle which did this, I think. So it came up, literally pierced it. And again, people are going to say, you know, oh, you'll get stopped out with that. It's probably 0.1, 0.3-ish, bit of space. Get a better broker. You know, I use IC Markets. My link is below. Like literally use them. They're the best. Or they're one of the best. I'm in talks at the moment with another enormous broker, similar spreads, possibly even better commissions. And we'll see where that goes. So that's pretty cool. But I first have to use them before I could recommend them, whereas I do use IC Market. So there's your trade, there's your entry for the morning, nice and easy. You let it go, see what happens, bang, take profit within an hour. Yeah, so your first trade of the day, if you hadn't taken that other beauty, which we just found, is a 25R, or call it 20, probably about 23, because your commission's going to be huge on that, especially if you trade the sizes that I do. So call it about 23R, okay, but you take it to the rebalance because that's the safest place to do it. It's pretty much just before everybody else is taking their profits, so you want to get out there. Don't try and be greedy. There's no point in being greedy in this game. Now, because we pierced the 0.25, so we did go beyond and we pierced the 0.25, you can at this point start watching the 1 minute. Now, bear in mind, you're just looking for the same as you are with the 15, so you're either looking for CHOCH or you're looking for a strong reversal candle. Now, a strong reversal candle can look something like this, where it's an outside bar, which I absolutely love, so that's 2 candles. With this one, there's an order block left behind in the white candle, and not quite an outside bar, but a massive black candle next to it. Great. Again, that's a strong indication. With CHOCH, that's a 4 candle minimum entry. Okay, so you need to wait for 4 candles to form. So down, up. Okay. Then for your confirmation, it's a minimum of 6 candles. So it's down, up, down, up, down, up. Okay, there's your confirmation, and then you can try and get an entry. I like to be first in the market if I can help it. So I look for 1 candle entries, but with 1 candle entries, that comes with positioning and timing in the market. I know exactly what I'm looking for. I've done it for years. Just follow this advice and go back and back test. If you're not sure about it, just go back and back test. So I'm going to drop down to the 1 minute and see if there were any other entries that we could have taken where we would have lost. Just to give you complete transparency, because you will lose at trades. Like I lose sometimes multiple trades in a certain area like this in the hunt for the 1, because when the 1 comes in and it's like, what was it, 23R-ish, I don't care if I take 2 or 3 losses in a row. Like really, after a while, you just grow thick skin to it and you just don't care because you just know what you're doing is right. So anyway, we had a CHOCH there, so you may be forgiven for taking the trade off of, oh no, that was mitigated straight away, possibly this one. you may have locked it to break even. So that may have been a break even trade. Then price came down. It was only, again, a sweep. We didn't get a break of that. That was a sweep again. That was only a wick break. So no, it looks like there was only one trade which would have been turned into probably break even. I wouldn't necessarily recommend moving your stops, because the amount of times where it leaves behind another order block, comes down, retest that, it's normally just beyond your entry point. So just don't move it to break even. But you could be conservative and say you get break even, or +3 or 4 or whatever. If you took it would be an order off of, well, the inside bar plus the wick, 3R, 4R. But why would you, when your target, by the way, sorry, forgot to mention that bit, the target on this, because it's the extreme order block, okay, it's the extreme of the leg on the H4, the target is the next H4. So you have to break this structure. So bear in mind, if you were in this trade now, and some of you may well be, you really kind of need to hold it over the weekend. But by the time you see this, it would be the morning. Right now, it's 21:37 in the UK. The market closes in 23 minutes. Because of the distance that it's gone, and it's going to be up like plus 30 probably, or something like that, I would probably close and just live out the weekend and enjoy the money, really. Set your broker to release the funds. Anyway, price broke down. We got a break at the halfway point, so it's getting a little bit like, is this going to hold? And it comes down and breaks the 75, and it's like, okay, but market needs to start showing signs. Here we go. We again get a BOS down with a wick, strong rejection. We need to get a break of this if we can to get CHOCH. We get it with this white candle. We can now start looking for entries. And let me just click through slowly on this. So after that candle's gone in, this is where some of you will find it subjective. I typically just go from the furthest, from the height of the furthest down candle. So where the market dips like this, like that, and like that, I try to get that length. Okay, it's kind of hard to explain. So there's your breaker structure, there's the dip, and then this bit, which I just drew, is actually here to there. So from here to here, that's where my setup is going to be coming from. Okay, so with that in mind, this is the high of the GAN. It will go on that inside bar, and the low of the GAN goes on the wick. Sometimes what I'll do, if it's a particular big area, I'll literally go from the bottom of the previous wick, which has now, not fully mitigated this area, to the bottom of that. But you change the parameters and take it straight off the top of that if you can. But no, you do it off of this. Again, same setup criteria as if it was on the 15, just different on the H4, okay? Actually, no, the M15 is different. So the M15 and the M1 are the same, but H4, daily, weekly, monthly, etc., they are all slightly different with their mitigation. Again, 15,000 combination of back tests and live trades, probably more now, probably more like 16 or 17,000, but been doing it for close to 7 years. So anyway, this is what happens. Price just sort of continues. We come down, we get that tap, like what I was saying about. But if you're expecting more than just a rebalance and you're expecting a mitigation, this is going to have liquidity underneath it. So it's kind of an incentive for the market to come back down. So the way where you know that has a strong chance of happening is that if we don't work up and break through this structure up there, come down, tap it, off we go. Okay, so again, because we're using the 1 minute, most likely going to be a pending order. So this will be win or loss. It won't be a case of using a stop order and getting safe with it. But your target is going to be, your initial target is literally going to be this structure, which happened from the start of London. Okay, so that's the nearest swing structure. That's going to be your initial target. Your next target is going to be the H4 BOS. Then your next target beyond that is going to be the next H4 zone. And that looks like it, we're on the 1 minute, so it won't show me, but miles away. Okay, it'll be miles. And it makes sense because we're at the extreme of the structure. Okay, so let's just carry on a little bit. There we go. We get the entry. Don't worry about all these things, all the wicks. A lot of them are formed just to try and kind of trick you. You get the entry. That bullish white candle gives you the confidence that you should just be holding that now, and just leave it. Literally just forget about it. You get a second chance, a double tap. You get a break of that, you might be able to get another entry off of here. Yep. So there's an order block left behind there, but it's being rebalanced, so maybe not. And that's being rebalanced. So yeah, all of this to me is gone. Let's just keep going. Order block left behind. That's being rebalanced. These, not great, but kind of left behind. Yeah, so that would have gone through. So yeah, the price is working its way. And just throughout the day, just leave it. Just walk away from the charts. My recommendation is when you get a monster on like this, literally just walk away. Looking at the charts and torturing yourself is not going to influence what actually happens. So this is why we trade how we do. We need to be attentive when we reach one of our zones. But then after that, just set your alerts. Like I would set an alert up here, for example. Where is it? Oh, I can't do it because I'm on inside bar. Bar replay. So anyway, I'd set an alert somewhere up there. Just say, okay, time to look at the charts. Am I going to get an entry set up? And just go about your day. Like there's no need, like, you know, we might be full-time traders, but, you know, we're not full-time workers, okay? Like, what's the point? You need to enjoy your life. Anyway, just leave it. And it will probably come through to the current time in a second. Like, yes, we've got a little bit of price movement, but because this is happening in the middle of nowhere, I think, shouldn't be reacting from anything interest. Oh, okay, slight reaction. You know, it's in the middle of two zones. So if you get CHOCH in the middle of two zones, take it with a pinch of salt, especially as we are working our way up overall. So for a couple of hours, you might be thinking, oh no, that's why you don't look at your chart, because you may have punched out. I don't know where price is right now. I would assume it's somewhere down here. But yeah, it's going to end up there somewhere. But that is how, you know, if you took it just literally off the target, which was set by this morning's 8 a.m. candle, 36 plus 25 is 60R. Okay, so the strategy is solid. The link is below. Join us.